Ignore AI delegation this quarter, and your revenue operations team will spend the entire quarter firefighting while your competitors are steering ahead. Hi, this is Samir Khan from Solve with AI. I recently worked with a revenue operations organization in a $350 million mid-market company. At the surface, the financials look pretty solid. They had very healthy margin. But when you start looking within the departments, you're going to find cracks everywhere. In fact, what I found was the forecasting was wrong because the data that was coming from SAP, from Salesforce, was not matching with the data that was forecasted. There was an issue with the deal cycle because everything was done manually through an email, especially whenever there was an exception process. It was handled entirely through the email. This is something that goes on in multiple organizations, and marketing and sales were in misalignment on the quality of the leads. And one thing that we also found out that the QBR reporting was an issue because whenever the leadership had specific questions, the analyst team was struggling for hours and sometimes even days to answer those questions. This is not just the organization that I'm talking about. This is a very common theme across revenue operations organization in mid-market company. It's not because they're not hiring capable people. It's because they have issues with their business processes, and majority of those processes are manual. And what happens at the end? They're scrambling, they're firefighting, they're constantly plugging leaks instead of focusing on revenue ops strategy and pricing strategy. That question here is AI going to be able to solve this by itself? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Even though you can think about throwing a bunch of AI agents on this type of a problem to think that the problem is going to solve, but in reality, it is going to only make the problem worse. What you need is a framework, a way to deliberately decide what is going to be delegated to AI, how and when. After decades of me working with Inc. 5000 and 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, and small to medium businesses, I've created what I call as a Quantum AI Delegation Framework. Think about that as a 5-level model that shows the departments, such as revenue operations in this case, on how do you go from the step 1 to level 5 on the AI journey. At level 1, you're starting at the very manual processes. There is no AI delegation happening. So everything that we just talked about, all the issues are manual. At level 2, you're now starting to experiment with AI agents and tools. So they're using the tools for email summaries. You're using Zoom AI for meeting recording. You're using Read AI for emails. But it's not fundamentally solving the structural issues in your organization. At level 3, this is when AI is going to start to handle the repetitive tasks. For example, you're going to have a forecast consolidation. AI is going to pull the pipeline data from CRM. It is going to flag the finance every night on the potential risks. You can also have a deal desk automation where AI is going to route the pricing approvals to the right person instantly instead of them sending this email and trying to figure out what's going on. You can also use for preparation of the QBR decks where these decks are automatically up to date with the latest information every single week. This is where the first real shift happens and the department are getting back time and the errors are starting to drop. Level 4 is when the AI produces output that are ready for consumption by your executive leadership. Like forecasts are updated automatically, risk scenarios are modeled ahead of the review boards, and the dashboards are standardized to forecasting data. This means there is going to be much less argument on which number is right, my number or your number, between sales, marketing, and finance, which is very typical in revenue ops organization. At level 5, where AI is going to start handling your entire department and workflows. So think about that as a finance reconciles the booking. Only exceptions processes that needs human interventions are highlighted. Marketing campaigns are automatically adjusted based on conversion data. Renewals, specifically account renewals, they're automatically running in the back. The only thing that's surface are the accounts that are going to be at risk. At this stage, revenue operations organization is going to stop being a bottleneck and is going to become a growth driver. Now you have two options. You can continue to take the level 1 and run manually chasing approvals and preparing reports, or you can work through this framework, start from level 1, go to level 2, and let AI take the manual workload, eventually running departments for you. That is a fundamental shift on how you apply AI, leveraging the framework versus trying to replace the people. You're elevating them. So you're freeing up their time, so they're going to focus on revenue strategy instead of doing a firefighting mode, which happens in a lot of organizations where people are always in some type of fire drill, whether it could be approvals, forecasting, or reporting. The revenue operations team can continue to stay at level 1 and they're going to be stuck there forever, versus teams that are going to aspire to climb to the level 5 of this framework. Even when your company is closed, things are going to automatically run, because that's the beauty of these agentic processes when they start to work. If you want more details about the Quantum AI Delegation Framework, you can click the link below and read the entire material, the concepts, the ideas, the practical application, including the detailed prompts in my newsletter. Again, always stay curious, always stay open to new ideas. This is Samir Khan from Solve with AI. Thank you for watching.